For you on the whole thing of what we did today. And the first thing we did was putting fractions and decimals that are combined in one problem into least to greatest or greatest to least. So you'll see number 5, 6, 7, and 8 on page 78 are least to greatest. And number 9, 10, 11, and 12 are actually going to be greatest to least. So the instructions are super important. Okay, so it's too hard to see this in a mixed form where some of them are fractions and some of them are decimals. So we are actually going to put them all either in fraction or put them all in decimal. I recommend decimal because then suppose you did fraction like this. They all have different denominators, so you'd have to do the denominators and take care of that. And it's just easier to put them all in decimal because the decimal is always easy to see. So that's what I would recommend. And can you still see my screen or no? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I can still see screen.
Okay, awesome. Okay, so that is what we do, and to change this fraction to a decimal, you are just going to do denominator here, numerator here, divide it out. If you did that for number 5, you would get 5/12 equals 0.58. 0.75 is already in decimal, and 5/6 is 0.83. Then you're going to look at these numbers right here, whatever the first digit is. It could be over here, it could be here. For this example, 5 is the smallest, 7 is the second smallest, 8 is the third smallest. If these two digits are the same, you would go to the next number to find out which one is least. The smallest number always is least. The biggest number is always the greatest. For multiplying fractions, you just multiply across. So for this one, you would do 1 times 4 is 4, 2 times 5 is 10, and then you would simplify. Shri, can you put it on mute, honey?
Yeah, I just have to go bathroom really bad again.
Okay.
Can I?
Yep. And then for mixed numbers like this one, you first change it to an improper fraction. So you would do 4 times 1 plus 1 is 5/4 times. 3 times 1 plus 2 is 5/3. And then you would multiply across 25 over 12. And then you would turn it to a mixed number. 12 goes into 25 2 times with 1 left over, and our denominator stays the same. So that's all great. But it's not going to stay that simple because now we're going to go into order of operations, and they want me to do 3/4 minus 1/2 times 3/5. So you'd have to figure out what do you do first, and we know with PEMDAS we do our parentheses first. So you would do the parentheses first, change it to same denominator. So you get 1/4, and now you have to multiply that by 3/5. 1 times 3 is 3, 4 times 5 is 20, and then you just make sure, is this in simplest form? Yes, it doesn't go any lower. We already went over multiplying mixed numbers, and then you always make sure it's simplified. And then you might have something that goes a little bit more. So this is multiplying all the way across. For this one, you would just make this into a fraction, and you would do 4 times 1 times 3. And then you put the answer. 1 times 8 times 10, put the answer and simplify. For this one, you would have to figure out PEMDAS. What do you do first? What do you do second? What do you do third? So I'm going to let you try that one and see if you could get it. So for homework, you're going to do number 5, 6, 9, 10, 15 and 16 on page 83, and then you're going to do number 2, number 4, number 5 on page 85, number 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. And then this is more of the same, so you are going to, this is, we'll stop at this part, but it's more of the same in lesson 2.4. It's just a little different. I want to go over cross multiplication with you again. And I would like you to try it for homework for all of the problems. So cross multiplication, if you really can't do it, you can do it the old-fashioned way where you just multiply across, but I do want you to try this. It's a little tricky to get the hang of, but once you get it, it changes your life with ease forever. So here is how we do it. These two fractions, or these two numbers right here go together, and these two numbers right here go together. And what you're going to do is you're going to say 8 and 4 have a common number. What is my common number that I could divide both 8 and 4 by? 4. So if I divide it 4 by 4, I would get 1. And if I divided 8 by 4, I would get 2. Now, instead of doing 4 times 7 and 5 times 8, I do 1 times 7 is 7, and 5 times 2 is 10. So it totally cuts out the need to simplify because you're already simplifying it. Now, sometimes you can only do one part. Maybe you can do this part, or maybe you can do this part, and sometimes you can do both. So it just depends on what numbers you're working with. So let's do 3/4 times 8/6. So if you had this, you would pair these two up, and you would say, what number can be divided, the same number, by 8 and 4? And I already know it's 4. That's the biggest number that I could use. This would be 2, and this would be 1. So I'm going to cross this out. This is going to become a 2, and this is going to become a 1. Now I do the same thing with this. If I have 3 and I have 6, what can I do to divide? Is there a common number that I could divide by? Yes, it is 3. So I'm going to divide by 3. This becomes a 1. This becomes a 2. And then I just do 1 times 2 is 2. 1 times 2 is 2. And it gets simplified to 1. I know that's tricky. I get that it's not going to make a whole lot of sense, but if you keep working with it, you are going to be so glad you did because it makes your life so easy. Did you have a question, honey? Shree, did you have a question? I saw you raise your hand.
No, but you were just talking super fast. I think it's because maybe you froze and then I didn't really understand anything.
Okay, hopefully the video will be normal speed because it's not going over the internet. It's recording from my screen. So hopefully it'll go way slower. Or, I mean, I'm not really a slow speaker, but it'll go slow and it won't sound all like sped up. So this is a 9-minute video. It'll show you how to cross cancel, sorry. And that's what this is called, cross cancellation.
Okay.
And then it's going to make your life a lot easier if you learn to master it. So do try to do that for your homework that I'm assigning to you. It'll make things a lot easier. Okay, so we didn't get to your writing.